Hello stamping friends, it's Angie here with Too Cool Stamping, here once again with another class. I'm so glad to be back with you again. We have a class that I think you're really going to like because it's all fun folds. It's a great way to use up the designer series paper that you have and also to try out the new designer series paper that you might want to purchase in the upcoming catalog. But before we get to the class, and it's featuring Texture Chic, which is actually one of my favorites from the annual catalog. I've been wanting to use it ever since the catalog was released last year, and I'm so glad I'm finally getting to it because I didn't want to miss out on this beautiful paper, and I know you're going to love it. We'll also be featuring the Season of Chic bundle that goes with that. It coordinates with the paper. The designer series paper, Texture Chic, will be retiring, but the Season of Chic stamp set and Chic Dies that go with them will be carrying over to the new catalog. So that's great. The only thing that isn't carrying over is the bundle. So if you want to get that Season of Chic bundle with the stamps and the dies at that 10% off discounted price, be sure to get it now before the end of the last chance sale that is on May 1st. So that's one of the reminders I wanted to make sure that I hit. We are in the middle of the last chance retiring list. That's all the items that are retiring, not only from the mini catalog, but also from the annual catalog to make room for a bunch of new products in the new annual catalog. So you can get those products, as I mentioned, until May 1st. Some of those items, in fact, quite a few of those items are discounted, and some of them are up to 60% off. So if you haven't yet checked it out, go to toocoolstamping.com, click on the links that I have there to shop the retired list and see what they have available. And all of those are available while supplies last. Many of the things have already sold out, including a lot of the colors. Just a reminder, if you haven't heard, there's a big color refresh coming, and many of the core colors are retiring, as well as some of the in colors. So just a quick run through of those. There's 15 colors that will no longer be available after May 1st. That's polished. Okay, first of all, there's 4 in colors that are leaving. We knew that the in colors probably would leave. One of them, Fresh Freesia, is actually carrying over, which I'm so happy about. But the other 4, Polished Pink, Pale Papaya, Evening Evergreen, and Soft Succulent, will all be retiring. And then from the core color families, Mango Melody, Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point, Mary Merlot, Soft Suede, Sahara Sand, Rich Razzleberry, Blushing Bride, So Saffron, Pear Pizzazz, and Mint Macaron are all leaving us. I know some of those colors are kind of hard. It's hard to say goodbye to, but when you see the new colors in the new catalog, hopefully you'll be really excited about trying out some new color combinations and just having a fresh new whole grouping of colors. So I'm really excited about it. I'm loving the new colors. If you want more information about that, including a link to a video introducing the new colors, you can go to toocoolstamping.com. Okay, just a couple more reminders since I haven't been on here for quite a while. If you need a new catalog sent to you, I am not sending out catalogs automatically, even to my customers this year. You need to request one. I've already had my first 2 rounds of catalogs going out, but if you're still in need of a new catalog, then you can request one through me. Go to toocoolstamping.com. There's a link there to request one. Anybody who's a customer can get one for free, so just sign up for that. I have no problem sending them out to you. I just am doing it by request only so that I don't waste any. People move all the time. I have many customers who are also demonstrators that already get a catalog, so I just wanted to make it by request this year. So definitely do that if you have not already, and I will get a catalog out to you as soon as possible. Let's see. Many of you have asked me already, and thank you for being so curious. Will I be doing a paper share with the new catalog, and will I be doing an in-color club with the brand new in-colors? And the answer to those questions, of course, is yes and yes. So look for information on both of those things coming up very soon to my toocoolstamping.com blog. I'm hoping sometime by the end of next week we'll have information for both of those, and you can get signed up for not only the paper share, as well as the In Color Club. That's a great way to get your whole collection of In Colors, just kind of, I call it the layaway plan. You're getting it bit by bit so you don't have to invest in everything all at once. So check that out next week. Let's see. And then I'll wait till I flip the camera around to tell you a little bit more. I actually have two things going on as far as things that you can earn by placing an order right now. One, of course, we're doing our Texture Chic class today, and you'll be able to earn a 5-card class kit for that if you place a $40 minimum order by April 21st. You'll need to use that host code, and it's especially important right now because I have 2 offers going on. So one is the Texture Chic class, and then the other is my mystery boxes. So this is the first time I've ever done this, but it's been a little while since I've had some liquidation of some of my supplies. Kind of ever since the pandemic, I've really been accumulating things and haven't had a chance to do a BOGO or anything like that. So I'm just trying to liquidate some things, and I thought, what better way to do it than to give you some extra value for ordering from me during this last chance time frame anyway. So you can place, there's 4 different levels of qualifying orders, and depending on how big your order is, you'll get even more products and even more value in your mystery box. Now, when I flip the camera around, I'll give you all the different tiers for that, but just for an example, for the $50 minimum order, you're going to get at least $30 in value, and it's actually going to be more than that, $30 in value as far as retail products, but you're going to get some other things in there, like some handmade cards and some other little things that just little surprises. So it's going to be more than a $30 value overall. So don't feel like it's going to be stingy in any way. I'm just trying to clear out some things. And I think that I just want to have a little happy box that you can have fun with. So, so definitely check that out. When I flip the camera around again, I'll show you the different tiers for that. And you'll have a different host code for that particular mystery box. So another thing I wanted to mention, you cannot overlap those boxes with the same order. So if you place, for example, a $50 order, it does not qualify you for both the class kit and the mystery box. You need to pick one or the other and use the appropriate host code. That's what the host code comes in handy. So I know which one you are intending on earning. If you'd like to get both of those things, then you'll have to place 2 orders. That's a little clunky, I know, but that's the only way I can really keep everything straight. You really can't double dip because, I'm giving quite a bit away with the mystery boxes. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. It's kind of a new thing for me. Other people have done it too, and I thought it was kind of a fun thing, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. Okay, I'm going to flip the camera around. We're going to look at the Texture Chic suite. We're going to look at the mystery boxes, different tiers, and get going with our class. So 1 second. All right, we'll flip everything around, and let's just take a look at the first thing we'll show you here is the class. Whoops. For the class that we're doing tonight, the Texture Chic class, you can earn that with a $40 minimum order. You'll get all the supplies for all 5 cards that I show you tonight. You must use host code RXCRSWN9, and that's going to give you the class supplies for all 5 of those cards. And then if you're interested in my mystery boxes, I'll show you that host code as well. So this is the different tiers that we have for a $50 order at toocoolstamping.com. Just click on the Shop Now link. That'll take you to my online store. You can get a box that's worth $30 in value. For a $100 order, it's $70 value. $150 order, you'll get $100 in value. And $300 order, $250 in value of product. And like I mentioned, it's going to be more than that because you're going to get some other odds and ends that aren't necessarily a retail value type of thing. I'm going to make sure that you have lots of fun stuff in there, so it'll be exciting to open. All right, so check that out. Again, you can get all the details on toocoolstamping.com. And don't forget to use the host code WPQEV3S4 for the mystery box. I need to know which host code and which item that you want with your order. Very, very important. Also, just to mention, along with the last chance list, there are some price increases. In fact, quite a bit, as you can imagine, with the economy and everything the way it is right now. They've had to have some prices increased, including cardstock and a lot of the main things that you're going to see in the catalog. So it's a good time to stock up on some of those things that you use quite a bit of, and this is a great way that you can kind of take advantage of that. Okay, let's get on with our class. I want to show you what's in the Texture Chic Suite. We'll start with the Season of Chic bundle. This is so beautiful because it's kind of like the name implies, it's kind of all through the season. So you have flowers, you have some shells, you have leaves, and even some snowflakes, and lots of two-step stamped images where you have an outline and then a fill-in, kind of a distressed look that goes along with the designer series paper, which I'll show you in a minute. And then all of the dies that go with the Chic Dies, really, really pretty. You'll have some outlines to cut out your images. You'll have some additional intricate dies that you can use for overlapping on those same images. And my favorite is this big cross hatch background. It makes a perfect foundation for a little collage, and we'll be using that on one of our cards as well. So this is a really fun bundle. Remember, the bundle is available while supplies last. It is retiring as a bundle, so this is a last chance to get it at the 10% discount price for getting both of the products, and that will be ending on May 1st or while supplies last. If you still need the stamps or dies, you'll be able to get those individually in the new catalog and not at the bundle price. Okay, then we have the paper. So I absolutely adore this paper. I've loved it ever since I saw the new catalog last year. It has beautiful gold accents and lovely distressed patterns. So you can see, and a lot of the colors in here are retiring. So it's kind of like my one last fling with some of the retired or retiring colors, just to have a little fun with it. So you can see this beautiful kind of distressed pattern. The one side has gold accents and the other side a coordinating type of a pattern. I love this one. So pretty. And I just wanted to show you each of these individually because they're just so, so beautiful. And as far as I know, this paper is still available, not yet sold out. This one has some really pretty leaves accented in the distressed background. Some polka dot foiling on this one. And then beautiful shells. We'll be using this paper as well. I love that evergreen and gold. And then some snowflakes on this side. We're going to be using a lot of the back sides. It's like, I hate it when you love both of the sides equally and you can't figure out which side to use. But this is definitely one of those types of papers. Oh, this one's so beautiful with the flowers that match the flower images in the Season of Chic. And then, so that's all of the designer series paper, but also in this suite is this really beautiful distressed gold paper. So that has the same kind of gold shimmeriness to it. And I think you get two 12 by 12 sheets in a pack. So it's kind of reminiscent of like a foil packaging, but it's so much prettier. It has so much depth and shimmer and sheen, and this is staying in the catalog. So we don't have a lot of designer series papers usually don't carry over into the new catalog, but this is a specialty paper and it is carrying over. So we'll be using this tonight on our cards in a way that is accenting some of the stamped pieces, or I should say the die cut pieces. So really, really pretty. So that is all stuff that we're using. And then one more thing I wanted to mention that we're using tonight, or I'm kind of featuring tonight, is the Radiating Stitches Dies. Now, this is not something you'll find in any catalog. It's actually what's called an online exclusive. Just recently, Stampin' Up! Has introduced several items that are online only. So the only way you'll find them is online, and they are always while supplies last. Now, I did see a couple of examples in the new catalog using these dies, so I kind of feel like they're going to be around for a little bit. And if you ever see them, like right now, if you go to look for the Radiating Stitches dies, you'll see that they are currently sold out and currently unavailable. But if you see them on there with that currently unavailable, that does mean that they're coming back. And these in particular are meant to come back on May 8th. So, but there's a whole selection of online exclusives. Some products might just sell out and then be gone. And if you can't find them anymore on the online store, that simply means that they're no longer available and they're sold out for good. So, but this one is definitely something that's been really popular, and I think they're going to be bringing it back at least a little bit for the time being. We're going to hope so. So again, Radiating Stitches dies. We're going to be using several of those. They're just really pretty label shapes with a nice radiating stitch along the edge, along the border. So I think you're really going to like them. Okay, so we'll be using that as well. All right, and I also wanted to give you the caveat, because I know this is very unusual for me, and that is I don't have two cool versions for everything this time. So don't get mad, but every once in a while you just kind of run out of time, and I wanted to make sure I got this class in before the end of this month. And while things were still available, but I only have one version of each one, but I think you're going to love each one because, like I said, they're all fun folds. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is going to start out with a basic gray, and this is just a quarter sheet of paper. So it's going to be a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that is our foundation. Next, we have another piece that is, let me make sure I have the right thing. It is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So that's going to go on top of this foundation. And this is soft succulent, so one of our retiring colors. So here's our nice foundation. And then we'll use that texture chic paper. So this is going to be a piece that is 3 3/4 by 12 inches, and then you're going to score it at the 1 inch mark, the 4 1/4 inch mark, and the 9 1/4 inch mark. You'll fold back this one flap. Let me get my bone folder back here. You'll fold back a little flap here, and then all the rest of them are going to go toward each other, toward the center. And this is what you're basically creating your card out of this part. So this is just a foundation to keep it sturdy, but this is essentially going to be the card that opens. So we'll go ahead and add that to our card front with some seal. And we're going to make it so that this flap is on the top section. We'll just center it right there on our soft succulent. And I'm just going to tack this little section down. And then I'm going to add a little bit of linen thread. So I've doubled it up here, and we'll just tie it around and make a knot, a double knot, just to give it a little bit more texture. I love this paper. It's so textured anyway, just with the distressed patterns. It's just very rich and earthy, very earthy. So I love the linen thread with that. It's giving me fits though. That's all right. So just a double knot. Trim that. If you want, you could make a bow out of it. And then I'm going to just fray that a little bit by twisting the ends so that it's just frayed. And we'll put that knot over to the side. So there is our card foundation. Let's decorate the outside. Very simple decoration. I started off with a layering circles die cut here. This, unfortunately, I'm so sad, but the layering circles dies will be retiring, which kind of surprised me. because they're so, it's such a classic. It's such a must-have, but they are on the retired list. Let me get my piercing mat out here so I have something to stamp on. I like a little bit of a firm cushion under there, like a piercing mat. And I'm going to stamp one of the Season of Chic sayings in Soft Succulent. Wishing you the best birthday ever. And then I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals onto a basic gray scalloped circle, also from that Layering Circles Dies. Whoops, that's not where I want it. I want it on this one. So we'll pop that up. Center that in there, and then I'll add that directly onto my piece, my card front here. And you could pop this one up, or it looks like, I thought this one was popped up. Actually, I think on my sample that I did, I popped up the back one. But either way, it looks very nice. And then I used that gold distressed paper that I was talking about and the dies, the Chic dies, to make some die cuts of these little leaves. So there's two different sizes of leaves. There's one little punch out we need to get out of there. There we go. And I just want to attach that in, just kind of tuck it underneath there. So I'm going to use some glue dots and just kind of stick that under there, and another glue dot over here. You could use multi-purpose liquid glue if you wanted to, but just add a couple of leaves there. And then we'll finish up with the brushed metallic adhesive back dots. All of the cards in this class are using all of these dots. So that's the only embellishment that you'll need if you're going to be reproducing this. And I just love all this. It has gold, copper, and bronze dots, and they just look fabulous with this paper. So a couple of those in the bronze. And then, so here's what it looks like. Let me show you my original here, because then the inside, you're going to want to stamp on your white piece if you want to. There's a swoosh that I stamped in Pool Party, and then this outline that I did in basic gray. And then that's the writing area for this pretty little card. And I love that even though it's a little bit flimsier as far as a card opening, all of the items that you put on the front here on this top flap are kind of weighting it down so it stays nice and closed. It closes nicely. So that is our first card. I'm just really in love with that fun fold. I think it's so, so special. So that's our first one. All right, hope you like that one. It feels so weird to not have a too cool version, just to be to be completely honest. I'm like, so it throws me off to not have a too cool one to show you, but I think you'll like them in anyway. All right, so our next one starts with Soft Suede. This is another retiring color. It's going to be a 5 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then we're scoring it at the 4 1/4 mark, or the 1 inch mark. So we will fold this over. So this is going to be the card front, and we're going to add to that a piece of the Texture Chic Designer Series paper. You could use either side, but I love this side with all the different flowers and the different depths and textures. Just really is appealing to me. So this is going to be the card front. This is 4 by 5 1/2, and it's going to go like this. So we're going to attach this to this little flap here. So to do that, I'm going to use the tear and tape adhesive. I'm going to put one strip along the edge of the inside of the soft suede flap, and then another along the top of the Designer Series paper edge. That way when you close it, you'll have this side sticking to the inside of this and this side sticking to wherever that lands, if that makes sense. I will show you. So we'll peel off the backing on both of those. And then to get that nice and lined up, you're going to want to put the edge flush to the edge of your card. So get that all nice and positioned. And then you'll just close. Did I get it? There we go. Then you'll just close this together. All right, so there is our card front. And then the cool part is you get to see the inside of that paper as you open up your card. I love that. Another fun and very easy card style. And it's just a super fun way to get rid of, use up some of your Designer Series paper that you might have some extras of. All right, I have a little strip here. This is a 3/4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of soft suede, and I've embossed it already with the time-worn type embossing folder. Let me make sure that I have this. You can't really read the type very well, but you can tell if it's upside down. So take a look at that and make sure that it's the right way. All right, then let's do a little bit of stamping. Here's one of the Radiating Stitches dies with Sahara Sand, another one of those retiring colors. Sadness, so much sadness. I love this one. But we're going to use some Sahara Sand ink, and we're going to use one of the distressed I actually think I'm going to stamp off a little bit. It just looks a little bit better with it stamped off, or maybe some are stamped off. So just add however much you want. I better put one in full strength just to kind of balance it out. So just add a little texture to that so it kind of goes with the whole distressed look. So that'll be our foundation, and that will go up right about here, and I can go ahead and add that to our card front. All right, next I'm going to stamp a couple of flowers, and this is Petal Pink. Thank goodness that is staying. I'm so glad to know that. So we'll start out with, we're going to stamp with soft suede first, and we're going to use the outline flower. And then we'll stamp again, only this time we'll use Petal Pink. And we'll use that fill-in flower. So then you'll want to line that up and add that over the top. Just gives it a little extra depth, color on color, Petal Pink on Petal Pink. You'll use those Chic dies to cut those out, so I've already done that. And I've also used the Chic dies, which is basic white, and I have just a little flower here. Isn't that cute? So this kind of picks up the white flowers that you see in the background. And I'll add that with some Tombow glue, some liquid multi-purpose glue, just a couple of dabs of that. We'll add that up here. We're going to add these with some dimensionals, so put a couple of those behind. So we'll add one here, and one here. And then let's do a sentiment. This time I have one of the Radiating Stitches dies and basic white. And I'm going to stamp on that with some soft suede and another one of the sentiments. This one says, "I'm here for you." And before we put that one down, I'm going to add just a little strip of Pool Party grosgrain ribbon. There's just a hint of Pool Party kind of in the background of this paper. So I wanted to pull that out of this. Oops, get my dimensional off of there. I wanted to pull that out. Whoops, I put it completely in the wrong direction. Let's go that direction. And then we'll add that with dimensionals right here. And I'm going to put dimensionals on the back, but not where the ribbon is. I don't want it to get too bulky or uneven. So I'll add that right here. And then if you need to trim off any of the edge of the ribbon just to make it not hang off too much, you can kind of even that out. There we go. All right, and then we'll finish up with a few details. I do have a couple of other die cuts here that are flower centers. So we'll add that. I think I'll just add that with a glue dot. You could use some liquid glue if you want. Just gives those flowers just a little bit more depth. And then of course finishing up with the brushed metallic dots. This time I'm going to do the copper. And we'll finish off those flower centers. So that is the outside of our card. I just really enjoy that look. And then let's go back to my original here. You can see how I finished off the inside. Do a little stamping that mimics the outside. And a little bit of that distressed that we put on the Radiating Stitches element, and that finishes off that look. Just looks really, really awesome. I love how you have that texture from the back side of the paper to really complete the look. All right, that's our second card. Now, here's a really fun and fancy card. This one starts with Petal Pink. We have quite a few pieces here, so let me get them going. So this one starts with our traditional size, so it's 5.5 by 8.5, and you're going to score it at the halfway point at the 4 1/4, but you're also going to score it at the 1.5 inch mark. So you're going to have one side that's folded back, and then folded toward the middle again. So a Z fold basically is what you're starting with here. So here's your 1.5, and then it's folded like a Z. Again, that's Petal Pink. Now we're going to start to decorate that, and we have one little piece here of the polka dotted. You could use the other part, but we're actually going to use that shell piece for the rest of the card. So this is a 1 by 5 1/4 inch piece. And you'll want to close the card, and this piece, this area right here is where you're going to add that. Just to kind of fill that space in. So it'll be, you know, equal between the edge of this and the edge of the score, the middle score of your card. All right, next, I took a 6-inch piece of the Designer Series paper. This is that same polka dot on the back, and let me put them together here. So this is 6 inches wide that I started with, and it's 5 1/4 inch high so that it fits onto the card. Then, so I have this whole I'm calling it a scene. So any kind of paper that you have a pattern that goes across, or has, you know, a particular scene to it that you want to kind of keep together as a scene, this is a great look for, great style card for that look. So you start out with your 6 inches of designer series paper, again by 5 1/4. You're going to cut the first piece at 2 3/4. Then you're going to cut the next piece at 1 1/8. 1 1/8, and then the final piece should be 2 1/8. So this is what we do. We're going to take this first piece and we're going to center it on this flap, but it'll be centered between the outside card edge here and that flap. So we're only going to put adhesive right here. So let's do the 180 flip so I know exactly where to put that adhesive. Just go straight down, and you want to make sure that you keep all your pieces positioned so they continue with that scene. So I'm looking up here and that's a continuation, and then I look down here, there's a white shell here, there's a pink shell here. So keep your scene, you know, continuing on. So here's our front piece. I love that. So it's a Z fold, but it's going to cover clear to the edge. Then the next piece you're going to put on where you're going to open it up, and you're going to center it between that edge and that center edge. So again, make sure that you have it all lined up. We're going to put some seal on it. Now make sure when you're putting this together, because I use the same paper and you're using the polka dots on the one side, this is 1 inch wide and this one is 1 1/8 inch wide. So make sure that you have laid this all out. I can't stress that enough, so that you have the complete scene and that this other piece is the one that you use on the front. So be sure that you lay it all out before you start adhering anything when you first get your kit. All right, finally on the inside, if you want to do any stamping, you'll want to do that beforehand, and I'll show you on my original card when we're done the stamping that I did. But this will be our inside piece. So stamp before you do this, and you'll see that you only have one little area to stamp on because you're going to finish the rest of it with that finished scene piece. So now you'll have this one finishing off that scene. You'll put that right on the side. 3-panel scene card is what I call it. I don't know if that's what it's called, but we'll add that to the side. So if you want to do any extra stamping, that's the side you'll do it on. Then when you close it and open it, you'll get that completed scene. I love that look. Such a really, another fun way to use your designer series paper. Okay, let's decorate. I'm going to really crease this to make sure that it folds down and stays nice and flat. We'll do it to this side as well. All right, now we can add some fun elements to this. So I'm going to start out with this cross hatching. I like to, when it's used with the shells, it kind of looks like netting to me. So I'm going to add that. Whoops, I have one more thing. You're going to have some things to punch out too. I didn't poke everything out, but there shouldn't be too many to poke out, and they should come right out. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of Tombow. And you don't need it everywhere. If you want to just add a little bit of seal, you could. I'm just going to do it to a little bit of the middle. You could sponge on your glue if you wanted to. So I'm going to hold that in place. Whoops. Hold it in place, but then move it. I do like that you can move things if you want to with that Tombow glue. Very nice. Okay, we're going to do a little collage on here with shells. So the first one, we're going to do two different shells. One is in Petal Pink. So we'll just stamp one of those. And then the other one is in Flirty Flamingo. And of course you'll have a die that you can cut those out with. So I've already done that. So here are the two pieces. I also cut out with that same die another soft suede shell shape. And then there is another die that has an intricate cut that I used with the gold distressed paper. So this is another one that I'm going to just add a little bit of the Tombow liquid multi-purpose glue. Layer that right over the top of our soft suede. I love that look. Just really makes it so pretty. And we'll finish up, so we'll add all of these pieces. We'll finish up with a little sentiment piece. This is with a little basic white label that I created with the deckled rectangles, dies. And I'll stamp that in soft suede. Thinking of you. All right, now let's layer it all together. I'm going to add this one directly onto the netting. I'm going to pop this one up with some dimensionals. And then I'll add my Thinking of You sentiment. I'm going to pop that up as well. And then the last one I'll put over here, and I'm going to kind of have that hang over the side. So when I add my dimensionals, I only want to add them right underneath the part that's going to be attached. And actually, I think I'm going to just put a little bit of seal on that corner. All right, so it's has a little seal right there, so it's overlapping the sentiment, and then a dimensional under the rest of it. So now we have a nice little element, almost a pull tag to open that card. We'll finish up again with the brushed metallic dots, and this time we'll use the gold. We'll just put a couple down here, a big one and a small one. And that'll pick up the gold round polka dots and also the gold distressed accents. And let me show you how I did the inside. Did I do anything? Yes, I did. I added just a few of the shell shapes down at the bottom. So just a little bit of extra decoration down there. All right, that is our third fun fold. The next one, we're starting with our soft succulent. This is a traditional card base, so it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to do a horizontal card this time, and I started out with a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of designer series paper, and then cut out the center of it to make a little window. If you can see, I used the Radiating Stitches dies, a bigger one this time, but you can see that radiating stitching, hopefully you can, on the edge of that, so that makes it really pretty. And we're going to do, if you've ever heard of double time stamping, it's kind of the same thing, only we're doing it with designer series paper. So double time just basically is saying that you're going to, kind of like the scene card that we just did, you're going to continue a pattern from one level down to the next level. So you can see this Mango Melody leaf on the edge here that will go down to the next level, and you'll see what I mean in a second. We're going to start by putting this outer layer, the window, on first. If I can get my seal to go. Sometimes you have to start it with your finger, but then it should work just fine. So again, when you go to put this on, you want to make sure that your seam is going in the direction that you want it to. You'll add this. Whoops, I knew I had, it was sticking to my finger, so I was having trouble getting it on there. Save it, save it. Woo, that seal is really, it's really sticky. All right, let's try it again. There we go. So there's our window layer. Next, we're going to take that middle piece and we're going to apply it to a piece of soft succulent. This piece is 4 1/4 by 2 7/8. So again, just another fun way to use that designer series paper. Really, really showcase it. So there's a frame for that. Now you can see as you line that up, we're going to pop this section up and you can see how the pattern just kind of flows off of it. So we'll use some dimensionals. And I want to use quite a few just to make sure that it doesn't bow in the middle. I just realized I forgot my ribbon for this, so I won't be able to complete the card, but I'll show you my original to show you what it looks like. All right, again, make sure that you have it lined up so that you have that look where it's flowing off of the page, or off of the level onto the next level. So there is your background. Then we're just going to add some different pieces, some different collage elements. We'll start with, this is a Stylish Shapes basic white banner. We'll stamp that in the Retiring Evening Evergreen and one of the sentiments from Season of Chic. Thanks. Now, I forgot to bring the ribbon, but this will have one of the soft succulent ribbons. I'll show you that in a minute, what it's going to look like, but that's going to end up here. I also cut some die cuts. We have some more of the gold distressed intricate dies, and then there's actually 2 different leaves. I wanted to just point this out. There's two different intricate die leaves, but there's only one outline leaf that goes with the stamped one. So take the outline leaf that goes with the stamped one, and that's the intricate one that will match. So we won't be using this other intricate one. You can use them on your own projects, however, of course. And then I'm going to add just a few dots. I have so much adhesive on my finger already. Everything's sticking to me. So I have the die cuts in soft suede, and then we'll do this other one, and this one is in Blushing Bride, another one of those retired colors. And just layer that. It takes just a second. If you hold it down, it'll take just a second to dry. We're going to add that to our card. We're going to put this one down first with some seal. And that will go, let's say, about right here. Then we're going to add this. Again, I told you I forgot my little piece of ribbon, but I will show you the edge, show you that in a minute. We'll take the other one, whoops, and we'll pop this one up. So this one will be popped up over the sentiment. So that will go over here. And then we'll finish that up with a few of the brushed metallic dots. Let me show you what it looks like when it's done. So here is that soft, succulent satin ribbon, just gives it a really nice sheen. You're going to add that right behind your banner and then pop it up. Very similar to the first card or the second card that we did with the little piece of ribbon behind it. And then pop this up, add a few of the brushed metallic dots. I have 2 in gold and 1 in copper, just to kind of bring that pinkish tone out. And I didn't finish the inside of this one, but of course you can, add some leaves in different colors, add some of the distressed stamping inside that as well. All right, we have one more. And the last one it's a little strange considering today here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, it's like 80 degrees, but we're going to be doing the snowflake one. I didn't want to not use the snowflake since we had all the different, the flowers, the shells, and the leaves. I wanted to use that snowflake and that beautiful snowflake paper. So this is the paper that we're using. For this fun fold, this is actually one you can use it in the winter. You can use it as a Christmas card if you want to, and it also can be a gift card holder if you wanted. So it's going to be 5 1/4 inch wide by that 12 inches long, and then you're going to score it at 4 and 4, or 4 and 8, I should say. And then you're going to cut off just a diagonal piece from this side to the corner, and it's going to make a little pocket. So we'll go ahead and use some tear-in tape, or you can use liquid glue if you want to add a little pocket to the side here. And then just like our first card that we did, it's going to have a card base as a foundation. And the card base is Evening Evergreen. It's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So we'll add that to the card base. I have so much adhesive on my fingers. My fingers are sticking to everything. That's crazy. All right, so we'll add that. And then we'll start decorating our outside here. I'm going to start with a 1 by 4 1/4 inch piece of soft succulent. We'll layer that about right here. Then we're going to do a little bit of stamping on a piece of Pool Party. And this is cut with the layering circles dies. Again, those are retiring. So I'm going to stamp some snowflakes in Evening Evergreen. Just a few here. And then we're also going to add a little bit of distressed splotchiness. I don't know what it's called. And that will be in Soft Succulent. And we're just going to add those kind of all over the place. There's 2 different ones. So the one we used on the previous card was this one that's a little more, has a little more density to it. And these have a little more sparseness to it, I guess, as far as distressed dots. We'll pop that look up on the card. And I would put probably more dimensionals, but I'm trying to hurry here. And add that to the side. And then I've already die cut a couple of snowflakes. Since we have these beautiful white snowflakes in the paper, I wanted to mimic that. So we have a couple of those that we can add. And actually, let me wait on that one because that one goes over the sentiment. So let's add this one first. Put that over this way. And I just kind of hung it off the side of that circle. I have another piece here. This is a 3/4 by, let's see how long it is. by 4-inch piece. And I'm going to stamp that with another Season of Chic sentiment. We'll add that across this piece, and this is going to have a little bit of seal and a little bit of dimensionals. Seal on one side, dimensionals on the other, since it's on 2 different layers. All right. Go about like that, and then we'll finish with this little guy over to the side here. Da, 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 da. And then we'll add a few of the bronze brushed dots again. All right, so there is our outside. And then let me show you what I did for the inside of the card. It's actually in that cute little pocket. Here's my original. I just put a little pull out. I had stamped more of the snowflakes in Evening Evergreen, Pool Party, and some stamped off Soft Succulent. You can add a little message. If you want to put a gift card in there, you could do that as well. But that makes for a really fun little wintry or Christmas type of card. You make each season of life even more beautiful. It doesn't have to be Christmas per se, but it could be. So that is our last card. So those are our 5 cards. I'll bring those all out again. You can see what they all look like. Again, you can get all of the supplies for all 5 cards when you purchase from me now through April 21st. And make sure you use that host code so that I know what class you're wanting, because I also have those mystery boxes going on right now. So you'll get all the supplies to make these. You'll have everything already pre-cut, pre-die cut. The only thing that's not going to be pre-die cut are anything that's stamped first. Then you'll have to die cut after that. If you don't have the dies, you can always just do a little fussy cutting. But you'll get all of the circles, the radiating dies, you know, all of the gold distressed layered dies. You'll just have a lot of fun with it, I think. So, and this beautiful paper. That's what I really, really love. So hopefully you love it too. All right, thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can always contact me by going to toocoolstamping.com and clicking on the email link there. And I have all the information on this card class there as well, including the host code. And I will, you know, over the next week or so, I'm going to have all of the instructions for these cards on my blog as well. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to bring you this class. I truly, truly love it and hope that you do too. And I look forward to seeing you with the next class next time. All right, thanks so much for joining me. This is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. Bye-bye.